Hello and welcome to video number 7 of Embolden's video tutorial project. In this video, we are going to start looking at the RadEditor interface, which is the brand name, if you will, of the editing component. This is what's called a WYSIWYG editor. WYSIWYG stands for what you see is what you get. It's a common term in web development. It basically means you have an editor that's trying to emulate a word processor and sort of show you what the things will look like rather than have an editor that looks like this where you're just looking at HTML. You should, by the way, never need to really be in here with one exception. So we're going to have a quick overview of the editor, and we're actually going to do several videos coming up that talk about specific pieces of functionality, like how to add documents, how to make links, how to work with images, and that sort of thing. So right here, I just want to show you some of the overview pieces of the editor itself. This editor you will be running into for several different modules across your site. Almost every single one of them uses this RadEditor interface. This is an Embolden specific configuration, so we have our editor configured a specific way. If you are not an Embolden client and you're looking at this and thinking, hey, my editor looks totally different from this, it's either because you're not using the RadEditor, you may be using a different editing tool, or because you're just not using the same configuration that we use. So bear with me on that. So in here, there's a few different things I want to go over. We're going to skip all of this stuff up here for now. We'll go over all of this in more detail. At the very top, anytime you're using the editor, you can use the basic text box version, which is exactly what it says. It's just going to strip out all the formatting and you'll just pretty much be editing the HTML, or the rich text editor. So that's editing in this kind of WYSIWYG mode. Similarly, down here, you have design mode. That's what you're in, so it's using the WYSIWYG features. If you click on HTML, you get into HTML mode. The only time you would ever really need to go in here, unless you were comfortable with HTML and wanted to do some basic troubleshooting, if you were having some problems formatting, the only other time you might want to come in here is if you are pasting in YouTube embed code or another third-party widget. Anytime you're pasting in code, you need to paste it into here rather than pasting it into the design view. Otherwise, if you paste it into the design view, when you save it, rather than seeing, say, your nice YouTube video, you see the code for the YouTube video. This little button here, super helpful. A lot of people don't like how small this is when you're first editing, so you can resize these little dots over here that you can kind of barely see. You can click on those and drag to resize your editing window, or you can click this thing in the middle to maximize the size of your editor. So a lot of people like to work in this maximized view and have it feel much more like working in Word, and be able to see more of the content that they're editing at any given time. So those are the basic overview of the editor. You have design and HTML mode. You can resize it in here. The one other thing, and we'll talk about this more when we talk about some troubleshooting stuff in future videos, is this little guy down here is great. If I'm clicked anywhere up here, I will see what HTML tags are wrapped around my cursor. So I can see I'm in the headline. I can see that there's an H1 tag there. I'm down here, I can see that there's a paragraph tag. If I was, say, within a bold thing within the paragraph, I would see P and then B and then remove element. This is a great tool for troubleshooting if you're already kind of familiar with HTML. If you're having formatting issues, if something doesn't seem right, you might look in here and see that there's span or font tags that you don't want. It's a little easier to look at than clicking into the HTML here and looking at this HTML view. That being said, all of this other stuff up here we'll go over in future videos. Up next, we're going to talk just about some basics of paragraphs and headers and block level elements and basic formatting.